All right. Week 1 is upon us. It says this is recording, so we will see.
Let's go.
All right, so we figured we'd Shay and I would jump on here and just go through everyone's rosters and just kind of see what we think. Again, all of this is all assumed
No doubt.
because everything can change. The rosters that we might not like, or some picks we might like, might end up being great for the future. But this kind of just taking a pre-season view of what we may have, and I'll just let everybody know the team that I picked for the best draft uh, without the keeper picks. I picked Andy on mine just because I thought basically the draft fell to him pretty good with some solid picks. There were some really solid teams out there. So I think this is probably, Shane, you can probably agree or disagree, but I think this is probably the one where it seems like we have more grouping rather than like 2 or 3 really good teams and 2 or 3, bad teams. But I feel like there's 7 or 8 like solid teams. And even if we're saying like out of 12, the other 4 are not like really totally behind. It's almost like if things work out, then that team's going to look a lot different and a lot better. You can agree or disagree with that, but
I think you're right. I think when I was looking at it, there was some good keeper value, but I feel like the keeper value didn't necessarily like launch a few teams, up to the top. And I think it just comes to, there's so much uncertainty this year. I know there's uncertainty every year, but this year it just feels like between injuries that you're trying to figure out how healthy they are, to the rookies that look like they may have a big impact, but will they right away? It's just that uncertainty. And then obviously players that have a history of injury, are they going to stay healthy? Who's going to be the 1 or 2 guys that nobody sees go down? Again, those are always unpredictable, but yeah, it seems like out of the gate, it's going to be a lot more fun because every week is going to be you're not going to know.
Yeah, and it's not even worth sometimes even guessing who's gonna win that week. Because like if you look at one and you go, okay, well, he's projected for 145 points and this guy's only projected for 130. You turn around, that guy who was projected for 130 had the high score of the week. That's the nature of fantasy, of like even going, you just want to win that week, and it doesn't even matter. It's a little bit different than some other leagues, but like it truly is a week to week and just beat the guy in front of you. And with us, the fun part about our league is having a smaller bench. Is you really have to navigate that and make trades and or make sure that you're dropping the right person at the right time to pick somebody up off the waivers, because that happens quite normally, where you think that there's a waiver guy that's really going to be there, so I'm going to use like 30 or 40 of my bucks to grab him, and then the guy you drop, there's an injury, and all of a sudden he's the highest on the waiver wire the next week, and why did I get rid of him? So it all adds a little bit of context to it. And not to mention, we had a little bit earlier of a draft this year, which means we had 3 weeks to sit there and watch guys who may have got drafted get cut or get traded, or all of a sudden now they're on IR and they weren't at the time that we drafted them. So, that kind of threw a little bit of a wrench in maybe some of the team's plans. But, like you said, it's a free for all right now. Now that we're getting there, is just do the best you can with what you have now. So starting off, let's just go through. I'm going to look through just kind of go through. Let's start off with Camden's team. We're actually guessing
defending champ.
Yep, defending champ. Sydney Sweeney's Blue Genies. So
love it.
Nice name. Apparently she's got good genes.
Rumors have it.
Yeah, but yeah, and we'll go back and forth on this one. I'll start with this one, and Shane, you can go with the next one. Just starting off with it, obviously, either he's a Bills fan or he's just wanting every single Bill that's out there, which is great if they finish as a top 5 offense.
Yeah.
If they finish, like middle of the pack, or Allen comes back a little bit, and not saying he has to be the MVP, but if he's not even in the running for it, then you know that there's probably been something that happened there. Yeah, I feel like he has basically all of their TDs covered, um, except for when Ray Davis comes in to steal a goal line TD that nobody saw coming. But yeah, between obviously you got Allen as a top 3 QB, Cook and Genty. There's another rookie that we're talking about. Wanting Cook's going to be fine where he was. Genty, is he going to get that target or touch? 325, 350 touches like we're expecting and everybody else is expecting. So if he gets that, he should be all right. He had the keeper in McConkey. That's a nice little keeper there. And then Judy, Coleman, Samuel, Kelsey. Like, it's a solid team. It's not going to stand out there and go, hey, this team's going to trounce everybody. But I feel like the floor might be a little bit higher just due to all of the parts coming together. If Coleman, like they keep singing his praises. And you got Shakir there in the slot, but if Coleman turns into T. Higgins light, then that's going to be something that bumps his team up even more. If Debo's getting a lot of rushing attempts out of Washington, he's getting more touches than he was with San Francisco. You just never know on that one. But I feel like it's a solid team. It's not going to put the fear of God in everybody at this moment, but right. We never know what's going to look like. So,
well, for me, obviously there's a lot of conversation around Cook regressing, but my gosh, if you're regressing off of 18 touchdowns and you get 11 or 12, that's still a really good year. So maybe he got a little value there with Cook. People are kind of, not drafting him, I think, maybe where he should be drafted. Kelsey, that's obviously one that it's like, do you think he's got stuff left in the tank? Does he got some juice left? Obviously, I think it helps him that Rice is going to be out for a little while. So at least initially, Kelsey's going to have a lot of play, I think. And then obviously with this team, for me, it comes down to those receivers. Can Keon Coleman take a step up? Is Jerry Jeudy going to get enough quarterback play to help him out? And then obviously, how does Debo's game relate to Washington? Are they going to use him more as a change of pace guy and kind of a scheme guy, or is he actually going to get the target? So, again, it could work out great. Genty, we know is going to get the touches. And so it's just one of those things where his team will probably ebb and flow as the Bills go. I'm one personally that I try to avoid paying bills, but apparently Cam loves the Bills. So
yeah, that's a great point. It really is going to rise and fall on the Bills team. So is that going to look really good in good weather? And then you're going to have some of those bad weather games toward the end of the year that maybe all of a sudden when they were scoring 28, 30 points a game, now they're scoring 17 to 20. So, but if that's the case and you're going, hey, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. This team could look completely different toward the end of the year. And just the last thing on this one is that Charbonnet pick. If Kenneth Walker isn't going, that could be like one of those, I'm able to throw him as a flex, and I got 3 top 20 running backs. So,
and that's not an if, that's a win. Mm-hmm. Walker's getting hurt, baby. He's going to sit out a few games. It's just a matter of how many and when he's going to do it. No offense, Travis, but that's just who he is.
And he obviously proved from last year when he's getting 20 to 25 touches, he can put up some massive games.
No doubt.
So that's definitely a worthwhile sit there and hold. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So let's move on to Josh's team, joshing around. So Shane, if you want to start with that, what your initial thoughts are on
this? No doubt. So obviously I love, I love the Bijan pick. I'm a Bears fan, but I think Swift could be I mean, old Swifty could have a good year. The last time he had a really good year was with Ben Johnson. So I think he's one of those guys that I'm kind of like wait and see if that offense clicks like it did in Detroit. I love George Kittle this year. Obviously, he drafted Rice kind of high to me. Like I was really surprised. I think no suspension Rice, absolutely. Like you can justify that pick, knowing that a suspension was looming, and all of us assuming it'd be at least 6 games. That one may sting a little bit here at the beginning, especially. I mean, it's good in the sense that Rice is going to get out of the way, and when you need him, down when it really matters, he'll be there, should be there. But what's his record going to look like after those 6 games? That's going to be pretty interesting. He's got some, kind of like home runish players there with Rashid Shaheed, who can put up some numbers, when he gets the chance, when he gets the catches. And, the other thing that kind of stood out to me, and it's one of those things you get into when you wait on quarterbacks, is I think he's going to be playing the who do I start game. Because there's a lot of talk around Drake May, and if he takes that second year leap forward, he could be something special. But again, there's a lot of people also saying, is this the year Lawrence gets it going? So he's got 2 very capable quarterbacks, and so now it's going to become, is there one you stick with? Are you going to feel like you need to kind of play matchups, kind of how that looks? But I mean, at the end of the day, when you're building your team around Bijan, and Kittle and players like that, you're going to have a shot.
Yeah, I agree that there's the quarterback thing stood out to me as well. If Drake May is everything they're saying he's going to be, like he was at the end of the year last year, he could be just a stash. I mean, not stash, but literally a start every week. Same thing with Lawrence. He's got probably the best weapons he's had. As far as in the wide receivers. So with a brand new quarterback that likes to throw, and a lot of people don't really realize it, but Lawrence gets you top 5, 6 rushing from a quarterback too. So if he takes the step and he starts to progress a little bit more, you could see that potentially being an issue if both of them hit. The other thing that stood out to me, other than he has Eckler now, who's healthy, so that can kind of take a little bit away from the sting from Rice. So if Eckler can be moved into your flexes or something like that. But yeah, the biggest thing that stood out to me was he's got huge boom or bust potential from those wide receivers.
Yep.
When you're talking about Zay Flowers is not a red zone guy. However, Zay Flowers could throw up a 50 or 60-yard touchdown every other week, or every 3 weeks. And while he's doing that, then you got Shaheed, who scores a 47-yard touchdown, ends up with like 3 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown, and you got 20 points.
Yep.
Are you going to get it every week? Same thing with Devontae Smith. I mean, you have like 3 receivers that if they go off, and you're going to be the team that faces him one week, and you're going, okay, I should take this one home. And then you look up, and all 3 of his receivers caught a 50-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
They're going, well, what am I going to do? So, that's with his team. And then obviously the Packers defense. I was like, Packers, man. Now you throw in Parsons, and you're going, I mean, that's an extra 12 sacks that we didn't think we were going to get.
Nice little cherry on top there, yeah.
There you go. So, yeah, I mean, a solid team that can go off at any time. Then I'll move on to Pridgen's team of the fantasy fumblers, which hopefully is not an ominous sign. But from his, obviously, he got the Barkley and Brown. He went ahead and put those together. His keepers were good. T. Higgins, he got Barkley there at the end of the first. So, sit or just start Barkley. A lot of people think he's going to have a worse year. What are we talking about? A worse year? Are we talking about we're not rushing for 2,000 yards? We're not scoring 20 touchdowns? Or are we going, hey, he went 1,600 yards and 18 touchdowns?
Yeah.
But he spread it out. I mean,
I'll
take that all day long.
Yeah.
And then like to me, a sleeper pick is everybody keeps sleeping on this Jacoby Myers. I know he's going through some, right now, trade me and, trying to get a little bit more, but the dude catches 80, 85 balls a year, whether it was with New England or with he had Adams on the same team in Bowers and still finished with over 80 catches. So, and then Pollard now probably the main guy for at least 4 weeks. Yep. So, and I that just happen to be, and obviously the Mixon one hurt because you just didn't know what. There was no news coming out as to is he going to be out week 1. They're like, well, we don't think he's going to be back week 1. Now they're saying, well, he's on IR, so he'll be out for the first 4 weeks. And now, is he even coming back for the year? Who knows? So that's something to think about. But another good sleeper pick that a lot of people, and I just think it helps him with Daniel Jones being quarterback, is Michael Pittman. I mean, he could get 80, 85 catches. Yeah. And to pick him up in like the 10th or 11th round, and you can use him as a flex at worst. It's a solid team. Like I said, not going to maybe not instill fear, but then you look at it and you're going, okay, not the best player. These are all like number ones on their team. So
the only thing I'll add to it is, again, I think the only thing he's probably going to run into, and it's unfortunately because of the Mixon situation, is he'll probably – be flip-flopping his flexes. I don't think he's in a position where he's like, set it and forget it. I think he's going to get into a situation where he's like, okay, is this the week I start a Ford? Is this week I start Pittman? Is this, so I think he's going to find himself a little bit of that situation with Mixon's uncertainty. And I think if Mixon somehow comes back after 4 or 5 weeks and is 100%, then that's going to be a huge boost for his team. If that continues to linger, for whatever reason through the season, then that's going to be challenging to overcome. But again, as we've seen, you get 2 or 3 weeks into the season and guys that weren't even thought of now are helping your team, so you can recover from that. But yeah, I mean, overall, Barkley's Barkley, and his top of his receiver group is really good. So yeah, he'll be competing for sure.
And you never know. Is this the year that Mahomes is Mahomes again?
Yeah. Put up a 50 ball.
If this is the year that Mahomes is Mahomes again, and he's not throwing 26 or 27 touchdowns, and they're actually getting in the end zone with better receivers when Rashee Rice comes back, they have more speed than they've had since they let Tyreek Hill go. So if he gets up in that 35 to 38 touchdown range, now all of a sudden you're talking about a team that's probably about 10 or 15 points better a week than they would have been. So there's that sitting there. Randy, why don't you go with start us off with
good old
Saucer's roster.
Saucer's Rostas, which I find hilarious because he's a big Steelers fan, if you don't know, and he's got Derrick Henry on his roster. So that's I love the irony of that. But again, overall, I think he's got a pretty solid squad just from top to bottom. The biggest thing, again, is, you got guys like Metcalf making a transition. It feels like he's going to be getting the best play he's ever gotten as far as targets and things like that, just between just the fact that Rodgers, that's who he is. Then you got guys, you're just trying to figure out with his team, are they going to bounce back? You know what I'm saying? Does Pacheco bounce back and have a Pacheco kind of season? Is Hawkinson going to bounce back now that he's 100%? Does Cooper Kupp bounce back and stay healthy? Is Juwan Jennings healthy? Is he 100% ready to go? So I think that's going to be the key. You got some consistent guys with Evans and Derrick Henry that you can that are at your foundation, but that's going to be the key. Is like, does he get at least a couple of these guys to come back and play strong? If they do, then his team's going to look really solid. And he's got some good bench pieces. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Aaron Jones, he may be sharing some time there, but he's still Aaron Jones. Once Najee's healthy, he's a solid runner and he stays healthy typically. And then again, Trey Benson's just one injury away from being a dog. So he's got some potential there too. But I think that's just going to be the key is are these guys going to turn things around from last year?
Yeah, I agree. Definitely on the bench, he's got some options there. So if things bounce right or don't work for his starting lineup, Aaron Jones is still going to catch the ball. I mean, we saw McCaffrey was out with the 49ers last year. Jordan Mason didn't catch anything. It
Correct.
was all running the ball. So even if Mason's getting, a couple more, third down or a couple of goal line pieces, Aaron Jones is still probably going to catch. I mean, you got a rookie quarterback there on his team as well. He's you would think he's going to catch at least 45, 50 balls.
Yep.
So, that could be a flex at worst, or even an RB2 where he's being, if Mason isn't what they think he is. So,
yep.
He's definitely got some potential there in the running back room for his. So it'll be interesting to see some of the pickups that he's going to make. But I mean, he's got some target hogs there at the wide receiver position. Who else is there? Aaron Rodgers going to throw to? Is he really going to throw it to Calvin Austin the third?
No.
Probably not. I mean, you would think that there's going to be at least 8 to 10 targets a game going to Metcalf, and you know how much Aaron loves his number ones. So I agree with you there. Potential, we'll just have to wait and see, and that's probably going to be the game for everybody. Everybody's going to be a wait and see for this first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Which leads me on to Stephen Beeman's Walker, Texas Neighbors.
Love that name.
Who again had some nice value on his keepers that really helped his team with getting McBride and Neighbors like 7 and 8 or 6 and 7, whatever it was.
Yep.
But he's got some high potential. They're talking about Bo Nix like being a top 6 quarterback. If that's the case with the running, hey, that's even if he's top 10, then he got him at the value we should have. If he's a top 5 or 6, then that's just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
And then you got Jahmyr Gibbs, who you would think, I mean, we all know the splits between him and Montgomery. Montgomery's a year older. Gibbs, when Montgomery was out, was going for like 30 a game. So you would think, like, instead of the 18 to 15 kind of split, 19 to 15, if that gets up to 21 to 12, Gibbs is going to go off with the extra 3 or 4 touches. Got Garrett Wilson. He's going to catch 100 balls, depending on whoever. Hey, if you look back, DJ Moore's best every year came with Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, baby.
So, got Diggs sitting there. Who knows what that's going to look like? But if Diggs is really good, hey, or you think the Pats are going to be a little bit better. Yeah, I mean, I to me, this might be, and I actually put it in there, top to bottom, his starters might be the best starters or have the most potential. Just looking at him, he's got it across the board. He's got good backups. If Fields is rushing for 1,000 yards, that's a great backup for Nix, or that's a great starter. That's going to grab you, top 6 to 8 numbers. And, then he's got that Mason for Aaron Jones. If Mason really is the guy, you throw him in there, and, if Josh Downs doesn't look as good, he's got some pieces to really plug and play. But he's got a top guy at every position, and that's rare in where you're going to get, a top 6 or 7 quarterback, a top 3 running back, a top 2 tight end, a top 5 or 6 wide receiver. He spread out the love, and I like what he did.
Yeah, and I meant to say earlier, my bad, Travis. I meant to say Stephen on the Kenneth Walker comment. And I know you can say this about every team. The one thing I will say about his team is he's going to have to watch the injury bug. I mean, you already got like 4 guys that are questionable, and again, I know some of those are just because they've not been practicing as much, and that I get that, but you've got Diggs, who's getting older. He's had injury issues. Josh Downs is already having some issues. Kenneth Walker always does. If he goes an entire season without an injury, that's going to be the pick of the draft. I'm just telling you, because Kenneth Walker has all the potential in the world, but my gosh, he cannot avoid getting hurt. And even Neighbors already kind of starting out a little bit gimpy. So, I mean, again, some of these are minor, but I think for him, that's going to be the key, is if these guys stay healthy, he's going to be a hard person to beat on a weekly basis. But at the same time, if he can't quite get past the injury bug, then it's going to be interesting to see how he navigates that. But again, when you got, like you said, a foundational piece at every position, I mean, you could argue you got a top 4 guy at every position. That's saying something. So
yeah,
kudos to him. I mean, he used his keeper value well and made some good picks.
And I'm going to give him the kiss of death on this, either the kiss of death or the just absolute crowning achievement. But I ran with all my data. You guys know I'm big into the data game. His team, on average, will score the most points this year. Is from all of the projections from like Fantasy Pros and CBS and ESPN and Fantasy Life and all those. I put those all together. He was the number one at every single projection list.
And since he spoke that into existence, Stephen, that was your kiss of death. You never want Kyle's analytics to tell you you're the best team ever.
It's either going to be that way or he's going to destroy me each game that I play him. And that's what's going to happen. But, he took the right guy at the right time. And to your point, there's some questionable, injury thing. Malik Neighbors, he's going to be fine. Josh Downs is fine. Diggs, I know they're saying, well, he might play week 1. He's on track to play week 1 if he does, Yeah. If he doesn't, he's got some pieces on the bench to throw in there like Mason if he needs to. Yeah. But then why don't you lead us on with Travis's team since you were talking about Travis?
Oh, I swear to God, I feel like I always play Travis week 1 every year. It's unbelievable. But no, I mean, obviously I like Travis's team. I can say that because I felt like he sniped me like 3 freaking times. I mean, and Kyle and Jason are my witness because I was sitting there right beside Jason going, I'm about to take this guy, and Travis it was like I was speaking it into existence. So, and I'll look back on these picks or non-picks, and I'll probably be like, that's where I messed up, or that's who I should have taken. One of those being Amari Hampton. I mean, he's somebody I probably should have went ahead and taken just because I'm Tar Heel. Come on, he's a Carolina boy. But and because of how long it took me to get down to that second RB. But overall, I like his team quite a bit. I mean, if Dak has a typical odd year Dak year, because that's who he is, it's like every other year he throws up insane numbers, and they just lost half their defense. So he's going to have to score. And he paired him with CD. I mean, that's just insane. And then I personally think Nico Collins, and I'll just put it out there as a bold prediction, if he stays healthy, I think Nico Collins could be the wide receiver 1. I really do. I mean, he is that good. And he was before he got hurt last year, I think he was averaging over 100 yards a game. I mean, and they knew they were going to throw it to him, and so having those 2 receivers is just ridiculous. And then he's got some great upside there in Jameson Williams and Ibuka. I mean, at the time when he picked Ibuka, I liked the pick. And then all of a sudden we found out he's going to be starting as wide receiver 2. Now I love the pick. So one of the better picks as far as value in the draft. Obviously a solid defense. I like the upside of Njoku, especially with, who's the quarterback for Cleveland? Yeah, Flacco. I like Flacco and him connecting. So obviously Bucky Irving, could have another really good year. So, I mean, to me, when you've got a team that Calvin Ridley may not start for you, that's a pretty good team. I mean, so top to bottom, I do like his team quite a bit. I mean, he's even got a couple of other running backs down there that could be getting time out of the gate for sure. So, I mean, he's just got a lot. Even if he has an injury bug here or there, he's got some guys that can step in. So, good draft for Travis. I'll probably pay the price here in week 1.
Yeah, you hit on most of the points I was going to go. Dak, when you have all touchdowns, passing touchdowns are 6, that could be a big pick for him with Pickens being there. They have, this is Shane, since you had Javonte Williams, we'll go ahead and say this. They probably don't have the best running game.
I will agree with you there.
Okay. And then let's just say with no Parsons, they don't have probably even a top 20 defense.
Probably not.
Like probably not. So you would think that they're going to have to score 30 points a game, which means Dak's going to have to throw the ball 45 to 50 times. So he could end up being a top 5 quarterback if everything goes right with them. Or they could be just absolute balls with the Cowboys. Who knows? But Dak could be there. The Igbuka. I mean, yes, this is it fell right for him. Number one, the keeper value, but number two is Jalen McMillan the next day got hurt.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. So he's out for 8 weeks. Godwin's not back for at least a month. So he has a wide receiver 2 sitting there with Collins and Lamb just to start off, is a great wide receiver. And you throw in Igbuka.
Yeah.
And then you have Jameson Williams, who is getting 5 targets a game. If he gets 7 targets a game.
I know. Yeah.
So
that's a house call when he catches the ball, man.
And I have this is going to be tough because in all of my best balls, I have a lot of Dak. I have a lot of Nico. I have a lot of Jameson Williams. And I have a lot of Bucky Irving. So I'm rooting for his team.
Until he plays you. Yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, I just have to hope this team decides week one's more of like a, just a sleeper week, just kind of get to know your team and put up like a 90 ball.
Yeah, the ETN could be traded if he's traded to the right situation, or if Bigsby is traded and all of a sudden now they only have 2 mouths to feed instead of 1. ETN could be there. Chubb's probably going to start for the first, 4 weeks of the year. Who knows what we're going to get? Probably not going to get much in the passing game, but heck, if he's getting 15 rushes a game and getting the goal line, nothing bad. Not one bad thing to say about his team, which is scary. Yeah. So a kiss of death.
Yeah.
I probably should have started doing this. Your team sucks. I hate this team. Your team sucks. Okay. So then let's move on, and I'm going to go to Mike's team, Mayfield's chasing enforcement. Let me again continue it on. This team sucks. Absolutely, just completely sucks.
Dog crap.
So first of all, I gotta say I was targeting Chase Brown the entire thing. Going, there's just no way I'm going to get to. I feel like it's going to come down to Jonathan Taylor and Chase Brown. This is where you just never know what people are going to do or what they're thinking. And he was obviously thinking just like me. So when he took Chase Brown, I was shocked and dismayed because I wanted Chase Brown. Now I got London instead, so that's fine. But with his team, obviously he's got some upside. He's got Chase, best, the first pick for pick 11. Then you have Brian Thomas in like the 8th round. Come on, dude. I mean, you're starting off with like 2 of the top eight guys.
Yeah.
But then getting a guy like Chase Brown, who we feel like is going to get at least 300 touches. And then who knows about Breece Hall? That's the one thing that I'm thinking on his team is we just don't know the Breece Hall and the Dobbins situation. So, and then he's got a lot of share. He's got a lot of share in that backfield. And when I'm playing him, I hope he makes the wrong decision. But that's the only thing. I mean, he's got Laporta. That's going to be fine. When Laporta, the first 8 games that split last year with Detroit, first 8 games, it was like he is just a dud. Nothing like he was the year before. He was yours. Last 8 weeks of the year, he came right back with the same splits that he was getting in that rookie year. Yeah. So, you would think that that's going to continue. It's going to be somewhere kind of in the middle there. But he's another team. He'll have Ayuk coming back after week 5 or 6. He's just going to make his team even better. But yeah, I feel like his starters are way better than his bench. Which again, you would rather have that. I'd I'd rather have my starters be significantly better than my bench, because now he's really not going to have to think about who he's starting at the end of the year. If things fall right and Braylon Allen's up getting the touches instead of Hall, he has that handcuff.
Yeah.
So to me, like his starters, he's going to be one of the in the top half or top third of the league just due to the amount of points he's going to get from those guys.
Well, that's the thing is, you have to guess that between Chase and Chase, he's covering 75 to 80% of those touchdowns in Cincinnati. So, I mean, that's massive. They're going to put up numbers. And again, he may have weeks that he ends up having a dud at a flex spot and still wins because those other guys just put up. So he may have a little bit of leniency there in that role, but you've already said it. The one thing I was going to point out is that's going to be the key. Does Hall end up splitting more time with Allen? Is Fields vulturing touchdowns? And then obviously with Dobbins, who knows? I mean, I'm hoping that Dobbins isn't as big a factor because I got the other end of that. So, but again, in Denver's history, they love using 2-3 guys. So it may just be one of those things. We don't know, but that'll be the key for him. He's got some good upside on the bench. So if one or two, maybe even two of those guys finds a way to get meaningful time, then he's got something going. But he's got such a strong core there of players that he's got a little bit of leniency, in my opinion.
100%, especially with that. Ayuk is going to be able to be plugged in. Maybe not the first 6 weeks of the year, but that's a flex at worst when he comes back.
That's a guy that may pay off for him, into the season and going into playoffs. Yeah.
Next one I have. I'll keep it. I'll keep mine and yours for the end, so we can go. Okay. So why don't you take Andy's? Joe Buck yourself.
Joe Buck yourself. Love it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think Andy had a good draft as well. I mean, I think A-Chain's going to be fine. So, I mean, he's got two solid running backs. I mean, Jonathan Taylor doesn't catch the ball a whole lot, but man, did he not turn it on at the end of last year. So, and I think it obviously benefits him that it's Daniel Jones at quarterback. So again, I like that. Lamar is Lamar. That's fantastic. I mean, and I think overall he's got some solid receivers. Now, yeah. I think when you look at his receiving core, it'll be interesting just because the only one that you could argue is the one on his team, outright, is in Jigba. And maybe I'm slighted because I'm a Bears fan, but I just feel like that Caleb Williams is going to spread that ball around. I'm not sure about DJ Moore. He'll still have games. DJ Moore is still going to have that 8-catch, 110-yard touchdown game. But I'm just curious if now that you got two legitimate tight ends, you've got Adunze another year in his belt, they're throwing out Zacchaeus, other guys out there. So it'll be interesting to see how many games DJ finishes as a one. But again, Matthew Golden, all kinds of potential. I mean, he looks really good. His name is Golden, so obviously winner. And then, I would say, and even looking at his bench, I mean, like Jaylen Warren picked down there quite a bit. Keenan Allen, he's just one of those dudes just keeps putting up numbers. The biggest thing for me with him, obviously, is going to be tight end. I personally kind of feel like Zach Ertz had the best year he's going to have last year. There's more competition in town for touches this year. So I'll be interested to see if Ertz, pays off for him, or if, maybe by week 3, he's kind of fishing for a different person at that position. But again, as we know, tight end, after a few weeks, a couple of guys may reveal themselves and he may pick up somebody solid. So, but from top to bottom overall, I think he's got a pretty good starting slate of guys for sure.
Yeah, we don't even need to talk about the quarterback and running backs. He's fine there. Okay, yeah. It's really going to come down to the receivers. I feel, and he and I are both in the same boat as a tight end. We started seeing the tight ends go off, and instead of reaching for one, he kind of waited for the best one that was available, which was, in my opinion, smart. Is I really don't feel like there's much difference between as the season, Zach Ertz and a Njoku. At this point, they can end up with the same number of catches.
Yeah.
We just don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, and at worst, he's streaming a tight end, which a lot of people will do if you miss out on those top 5 or 6. Right. In a 12-team league, you're going to stream no matter what. Yeah. But I feel like if Stafford's there, his Devontae Adams is going to be fine. I feel like he has a high floor when it comes to his receivers, just to the amount of catches that they're going to. DJ Moore doesn't. You don't look up and usually see him with 1 or 2 catches. You may see him with 4 or 5, and he only has 40 yards, but he seems to always have 4 or 5 catches. Right. Same thing with Devontae. Same thing with Najigba. Is he's probably going to end up with 6 or 7 at the worst. He might not score a touchdown, but he's going to have 12 or 13 points a game. Matthew Golden. This is the one where like I really like the player. I just don't know if I like the scheme with him. Their defense just got better, so they might be ahead in the game a little bit more, and they're not having to throw.
Well, they were already. They just love to spread it around. Like Jordan Love loves to throw the ball to 8 different guys. So
well, they're one of the bottom 5 in the league in actual passing attempts. So they don't even like they run the ball more than they're doing there. They're more of a grinding team. Not saying that they won't throw more. It just seems like if that's kind of their character and what their coach calls. Right. But with that being said, I mean, Dobbs, Golden, Jaden Reed. Yes, you could, with Kraft in there, you could see some splits. But if there's one on one receiver on that team, I would say is significantly better than the others, it would be Golden. So it's worth taking that stab, especially where he got him. At worst, he looks really good. He's a great keeper value. But then to your point, his backups on his bench, if Golden isn't the guy this year, Keenan Allen is still Keenan Allen. I mean, he was 30 years old getting 110 catches a game. Yeah. So, or 110 catches a year. So you would think he's going to be fine there. He's actually going to help the Chargers offense. It's not just going to be, straight McConkey and, Quentin Johnston, 50-yard bomb down the field. Keenan Allen could end up being a really solid 5 or 6 catches a game, 5 for 50 and a touchdown here and there. Yep. And then same thing, Godwin coming back. I know they have Ibuka, but, Godwin comes back. McMillan still isn't back. So, that was the reason taking out his, I think his team has a super high floor. Might not have a crazy high ceiling, but he could because of the 3 that we didn't even talk about: Achane, Taylor, and Lamar. So, I think he's set there. Yeah. So good job on that one, Andy. Next one, and I'll start off with this one, is Tyler Lemoine. Man, I'll be honest with you. When I saw his team and his potential keepers, I was like, I think he's going to struggle just a little bit. Just going, figuring out how the league works, what we're looking at, new format, new guy in the league. I thought he just killed his draft. And for what he did, having Hurts, and then Connors and Jacobs. We just talked about Jacobs, Green Bay, a running team. So Jacobs could have been a steal where he got him there in the middle of the 2nd round. He could end up outdoing Taylor. He could end up outdoing Chase Brown. So, and then, James Conner has actually been healthy for 2 years. So, I mean, high upside with that McMillan pick too. And he's got David Montgomery sitting there. I mean, just look at his running backs: Connor, Jacobs, Montgomery, Algier, just in case something happens. I mean, that's one of the best handcuffs in the league. And then, wide receivers with McMillan and Puka and Jordan Addison when he comes back in 3 weeks. I mean, there's Mark Andrews, who I feel like is going to have a bounce back year. He scored like 10 touchdowns, but he didn't have the amount of receptions. I feel like he's going to bounce back a little bit, especially with him dropping that 2-point conversion and that touchdown at the end of the game. Can't remember which one it was to go out. I mean, to me, one of the most solid teams that came out of that draft with having like no keepers.
Totally agree. Totally agree. I mean, yeah, like you said, you're kind of behind the 8 ball in our league if you don't have some keeper value. And it just the nature of the way we do it. And so for him to kind of recover the way he did, again, Tedero is one of those guys that, yeah, I think could be huge, especially now that Coker's out. They were going to count on him, and all of a sudden he's out for like a month or something. So they're going to rely even more on him, and they're going to have to throw the ball. And I agree with you. I won't add too much on it. I think he's just got solid guys at every position. And then, once he gets, if McCarthy's what everybody's hoping he is, that's only going to help Addison's cause. And he's going to have those pop-off games kind of like Jamison does. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's got a lot, one of the better defense in the league, which some people disregard defense. But as we know, defenses can put up numbers in our league. So they can win you weeks at times. But anyway, yeah, I agree with you. He's on his way. He's got a good, solid group right there.
And yeah, and even taking a look at his bench, he's got one of the better backup quarterbacks in case Hurts gets hurts. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then Tucker Kraft, the tight end, that might be one where he has to which one's going to score the touchdown? That's sometimes a good problem to have. And in this case, he took about the best player where they were. So I was extremely impressed with the team that he came away with.
Yeah.
Which would move us on to you take Jason, and then we'll do each other.
Yeah. Obviously with Jason, I've known Jason for a while now. He cracks me up because he loves to take his players, and in some cases he don't care where he's taking them. That's the guy he wants, right? So sometimes his picks can look a little like, whoa, that's interesting, but knowing him, it doesn't surprise me one bit. And one of the guys he was obviously big on was Trevion Henderson. Again, some people may have raised eyebrows where he took him, but his stock only continues to go up and up. I mean, he's one of those guys that's just, again, I hate to compare him to, but he's kind of a Gibbs type, he's just got that kind of giddy up and potential when the ball's in his hands. He's got, obviously, we expect Burrow to throw up 50 touchdowns or whatever he's going to do. So I think looking at his team, he backed Trevion Henderson up and Stevenson. So obviously he's got that backfield covered. Brian Robinson's not bad to have. I think maybe even better position in case something were to happen on that team. I'm not going to speak into existence, but if something happened there, but the biggest thing, and then I love Tyler Warren. I think Tyler Warren has got a lot of opportunity again with Daniel Jones. He looked good in preseason. He's just I like him a lot. I'm going to be interested to look back and wonder if the Bears should have taken Loveland or should have taken Warren. That, you know what I'm saying? That I remember when we drafted Loveland, that was my first thought was, man, we're going to find out real quick if we made the right decision. But I think, again, the key for him is going to be does some of these guys pop off like everyone's hoping they do? Is a Travis Hunter going to get touches? Is Adunze going to make that second-year leap? Is some of the, so is he going to be able to rely at some point on like a Marvin Mims to be that solid wide receiver too? Is he going to come out and do that? So that's going to be the thing to watch with him is he going to get enough of these guys to take that next step and produce every week for him?
Yeah, I agree. Burrow, set and forget.
Yeah.
Then you got Kyron Williams. Might not be the most efficient dude, but dang if he ain't going to get 22, 23 touches a game. Mm-hmm. So now the only eyebrow that came up with me with Trevion Henderson was I was hoping that he would fall to me. And I'm like, okay, he's one guy that I am targeting there in the third round. I felt some people would maybe sleep on him and take him, see if I can get him around in the fourth round. When he went that high, I immediately went, dang it. To your point, Jason, if he sees a guy, he's going to go for him. It doesn't matter. He believes in that dude. And I believe in Trevion Henderson too. Especially if he is getting 70 to 80 targets. Like, oh my goodness.
I know.
if he ends up with 60 or 70 catches a game, or I mean a year, 5 catches a game, wow.
Yeah.
The things that he could do with that in a Gibbs type.
Yeah.
But he's got the touches down with Williams, with Amon-Ra, with Cortland Sutton. We'll see Tyler Warren. Colts haven't had a good tight end since basically what I think they drafted Luck and Fleener together, and Fleener had a year or two, and then he was gone. So really not a legitimate tight end since Dallas Clark. Yeah. So if he is everything they're saying he's going to be, that's going to be big. The Travis Hunter, I'll say this: I think he's going to be better than people really expect him to be for this one reason. He's not coming in as a dude. He's coming in where Brian Thomas is already the dude. And if you look back from last year, Brian, they're saying right now that Travis is going to be on the field on offense for at least 80% of the snaps. Brian Thomas last year did all that, and he was only on the field for 78% of the snaps.
That's insane.
So he's going up. Then you got Travis Hunter on the other side. They're not going to be able to double both.
Yeah.
Hunter is a dude, and there's no way that they're going to be doubling him, and he's going to be able to do some things. Don't know about the target share. That's the only thing is he going to get the amount of targets to be a T. Higgins, to be a Devontae Adams? If he is, watch out for this team. With Dunze, he's got target guys and high quality guys on this bench.
Yeah.
So I know you said Chicago is going to try to spread the ball around, but is Odunze going to end up taking that number one receiver spot? He showed that he could do it toward the end of last year. There's no Keenan Allen there this year. Yes, you have a little bit better of a tight end coming in. You got Luther Burden in there, but this could be that year 2 step that they talk about some of these rookies. So suck for Brian Robinson to be drafted as a flex in a flex spot, and then watch him. Jason fell on the wrong end of the draft where Travis got the good end. Yeah. So that's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, again, it's another team that you look at and you're going, they can beat anybody on any day.
Yeah.
And they can lose on any day.
Yeah.
So it's just how's it going to fall?
Yeah.
So let's move on to mine and yours real quickly. I'll jump on yours first.
I don't even remember who I drafted.
Mr. Upside. Oh, I don't remember who I had. Yeah, right. Okay. So obviously starts off the draft with Daniels and Bowers. So top 5 quarterback, top 1 or 2 tight end, depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah, that didn't hurt.
So no, that was nice. That gave you some leeway to take some chances that you probably normally would not have taken. I found nothing, and in fact, it would surprise me if you didn't take McCaffrey there. He was worth the upshot. Between that and I know the Hill pick, that is the one. That's the one where you're like, is this going to make or break my wide receiver room? I don't think it'll break anything just because you had a little bit more of a runway over somebody like me or Tyler or Randy that didn't have like the amazing keeper picks. But as far as your team, it's all going to be whether or not they can be consistent. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be the thing that you struggle is RJ Harvey. Is it him or is it Dobbins this game? Hopefully it'll be Harvey, and you'll be able to see that. Same thing with Caleb Johnson, Jaylen Warren. Which one of these guys am I going to start this week? Mm-hmm. Who's going to be the dude that gets it? Maybe Dylan Sampson, Quinshon Judkins doesn't get signed or he's out for the first half of the year, and all of a sudden you can use him for weeks 3 through 8. So you have options. Javonte Williams might get the start. He might only be good for a week or 2.
Yeah.
And this is coming from somebody who's had Javonte Williams for the last 3 years. Like, you just don't know. The week that you start him, he gets 8 touches. And you're like, I can't use him. I put him on the bench, and he gets 15 touches and a touchdown. That's going to be the struggle with my team for you. I mean, Pearsall, a high upside, not much targets there. Deuce Robinson's out, or Demarcus Robinson's out. Ayuk's out. So he's going to be a top 2 receiver on the team, just even for the first 6 or 8 weeks of the year, you would think. Right. And potentially more. He did really good at the end of the year last year. Harrison Jr., I think is going to probably get more targets and better target situations rather than you just go down the field and try to out jump this guy. Xavier Worthy looks a lot better now that Rashee Rice is going for the first 6 weeks. So, you took your swings, and we'll see if it works. So tell me your process behind what you're doing.
And I mean, for me, it was like I definitely went against my norm. As you know, I'm usually a fairly safe guy when it comes to drafting, and this year I just decided I knew the second I set my sights on McCaffrey, then it was going to be that kind of draft for me. Because Tyreek Hill, I just again, I'm high upside, pretty bottom floor if he doesn't, if he comes out with an attitude issue or lingering issue or something. The thing that I will say the 3rd round pick for me, I think, is going to be the key, because I was going to go running back there. You snagged one of the ones I would have drafted there, but for me, it was like, how can the dude, if he gets 116, 120 more targets, there's no way he's only catching 62 balls. Like they're going to connect better than that. They're already saying they're going to use him differently. They didn't use him correctly last year. So, I mean, if he just gets the same number of targets he got last year, I think he's 80, 82 catches. Like if you increase catches by 20 to 25, plus the yardage, plus a few more touchdowns, like I'll take that. So, again, and then I will say too, and obviously hindsight's 2020, you can't know how your draft's going to go. But if I would have known that I was going to be able to grab Worthy and Pearsall like I did, then I think maybe it would have affected the beginning of my draft a little bit. But at the end of the day, I agree with you totally. I took a big swing on players. I decided this year I'm going to either probably be, 11-3 or 4-10. I don't know, but that was kind of the key will be my running back group. Can one of those guys or a couple of those guys get the bulk of the carries or get the meaningful touches. That's going to kind of be the key. And then obviously, as with everybody, help. But yeah, I took swings this year, no doubt. And then, all right, moving on to your team, which I will have to admit, and you and I have been best buds for a long, long time. I don't normally pick your team as the team I like the best coming out of the draft, but I did pick your team this year, and that was, as you know, not because we're best buds, because normally that's why I wouldn't do it. But I just felt like, man, there were players that fell to you that I just was like, wow, this draft is falling right for Kyle. Like I'm a big Drake London fan this year, and when he fell to you, I was like, you have to take him. I'm thinking in my head, as much as you wanted Chase, that's such a great get alongside of Justin Jefferson. And then, but then I was thinking, oh man, he's gonna be Slim Pickens at running back. And then you got 2 solid running backs, and there were 3 or 4 guys that went between your 2nd and 3rd pick that I would have never seen going in there. And I think it just pushed those players down to you. So you let the draft come to you, I feel like, and you just jumped on it. And getting Kamara, who, that's a 60, 65 catch dude. I mean, Chubb's is going to get the bulk of Chuba's going to get the bulk of the carries there. I know some people are talking about Dowdle being there or whatever, but it's still Chuba's game and team. And then, even getting Waddle, because you would think he's going to bounce back with Tua being healthy and, the uncertainty with Hill. Terry got signed. That was huge. I mean, he's going to be a dog for Washington against. I mean, you got a very solid team. I mean, getting Tracy where you did, I think it was worth the swing on Judkins, in the event. I mean, he's like your 5th guy. So, I mean, in the event that he gets signed, we know the level of talent that he has. And even picking up Bill, man, I mean, it was a great pickup. At the time when you picked him up, I was like, I guess anybody could have grabbed him. But now with everything that's happened, we don't know. I mean, it could be a 3-headed backfield, but I think he's one of those guys that you like to watch him play when the ball's in, when he's got the ball in his hand and what is he going to do. And so it's just a great guy to have, that if he does pop off, you got that option there. And even Olave, you have him in a position where you don't have to use him. But if somehow he stays healthy and can connect with one of these guys, I mean, they're going to have to score points if they're going to stay in any game. So, I think top to bottom, you had a really good draft. The only area, and I've already mentioned it, the only area that you waited on that you're going to have to hope works out for you is tight end. But at the end of the day, you got Goddard, who's Goddard. I mean, he's the third guy at minimum on that passing game. And then you got Loveland, who has got great upside. And I think he's going to share with Kmet right now, but I think eventually his talent's going to win out. So I don't know, man. I felt like top to bottom, you had a really good draft. I mean, Brock Purdy, you waited on quarterback, but again, he's such a good guy. He's such a good quarterback. And with McCaffrey back, he's going to get some dump off touchdowns. I just, the key, I think the key for you is going to be, can you get one of those tight ends to show up as an everyday start for you? And then, can Purdy, can he be that guy that finishes as a QB 6, 7, 8, at least 10, somewhere in that range?
Yeah, you basically, that this is not normally the draft that I would come up with. I'm more in the Jason range, where I have a guy who I like, and I don't care if I'm taking him a round higher. I'll grab him. I mean, going all the way back when I was taking Mahomes and Kelsey in the first and second rounds, I'm going, what? And then watching them just destroy the league. This is one where I just felt like I had to have the draft come to me. And to your point, this is just looking at it from now. It may or it may not work out. I was definitely going to take Chase Brown. I thought Drake London would be going first. So having him quote unquote fall was like, okay, I'll take the best player that I think is the highest on my board right now. And then coming back on that round 3 and 4, I was really targeting TreVeyon Henderson and probably James Conner. Those were the two that I'm like, okay, if push comes to shove, at least I'll have a couple of guys that, I can swing and miss. Where I'll take a home run swing on for, and then try to get a little bit. I did not think that Chuba or Kamara, either one would fall. So I had to take him there. And it worked out for me. I was prepared when I saw TreVeyon Henderson go high, I went, oh no, well, looks like I'm picking that high wide receiver again. But it bounced my way as far as filling out my lineup. It remains to be seen whether or not they were the right picks. Mm-hmm. But looking at it, I definitely was a little bit happy to get a couple of top 18 backs in rounds 3 and 4. We'll see Kamara. The only thing I don't like is I guess is his coach now, is not really high on throwing to running backs. And I'm hoping he'll change that, because they're going to be, but he was a offense coordinator for high-powered offenses that were usually ahead. So the Saints team is going to be behind a lot, probably all the time, every single time. They might as well just start off the game down 10-0. But but to your point, that tight end, once I wasn't going to reach. I didn't feel like reaching, just because I felt like there were going to be guys that, would be potential. And then the more that Loveland kept dropping, there's a reason he went pick 10 over Tyler Warren. I love Warren for my team, for the Colts, but there's a reason why the Bears took him there. And at some point you would think that he's going to be the dude. And then, to back him up with Goddard, I don't like to have 2 tight ends on my team, especially that close. But he was the best pick at that time. I mean, getting him in round 13 or whatever it was. I mean, he's one of those that's not healthy the entire year. He's only going to play 11 or 12 games. But in those 11 or 12 games, he averages 6 most points for tight ends. So I feel like I'm getting a top 8 tight end when he's out on the field. So we'll see if it works out or not. We'll see if McCarthy can actually make JJ worth the keeper pick. If not, then I would have dropped JJ. That means I would have got a couple of different wide receivers or a couple of different running backs. I may have got A-Chain there, So we'll see if that works out or not. But I felt like I definitely did did a pretty decent job of getting the best lineup I could.
No doubt. No doubt.
And I was definitely happy with Olave. I'm not going to lie. When you have an 85, 90 potential, catch guy getting that round 8, that you kind of draft and just go, even if he did not hurt my draft at all.
Right.
So felt like it was worth it. And I love Bill. That was the Krosky pick. I was actually looking at him because I have him a lot in my best balls that have started out to be right, because I'm like, he's going to get a little bit. He was a really good, when Brian Robinson and Eckler that I felt were going to be there, it's like, well, this guy could do something maybe if Eckler gets hurt. Well, the moment that came over, Brian Robinson Jr. traded the 49ers, I went, go, 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 because I almost drafted him instead of Penix. So the bad part about it is if he hits, I can't keep him.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm going to look back and go, why did I not take him over Penix? But, It is what it is. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the year unfolds. But, I'm happy with my team.
My last thought, because I know this has gone long, and I don't know how many of the guys will hang in here and watch this whole thing. But my last thought to the league is this. Guys, let's talk some trades, man. I mean, last year, I'm not going to lie, dude, I was so disappointed. There was so little trade talk. And, and I get that, you want to – I'm not talking about everybody's got to trade right now. I mean, I know you draft your team, you want to see them play. I get all that. But at least let's do some bantering, talk some trade. Like, doesn't necessarily mean you're always going to make the trade, but at least talk about it, get a feel for it. And that, to me, is half the fun, is going back and forth, evaluating players and this and that. And some of that's already happened this year. But let's talk trades. Let's, fill things out. I mean, the season ebbs and flows. Yeah, you're gonna win some trades. You're gonna lose some trades. You're gonna have trades that kind of work out for both. I mean, you're gonna have that. But to me, that's part of the fun. And then last but not least, dude, if you guys, if you're talking with somebody about a trade and both of you agree on the trade, follow through with the trade. Like, go for it, man. Like, if you think it's good and you think it's good, and 5 minutes later you don't think it's good, like, to me, again, just, I'm not saying it's, the verbal trade is in stone, but I'm saying at that point, like, you've committed to it, like, don't overthink it, just go for it. And or if you're using that trade to better another trade, then don't commit to the trade. Like, be like, hey, I think I might do that. I'll get back with you. And then you can try to use it as leverage. And if you don't, whatever, but if you look at somebody and say, done deal, done, that trade's done, it's not leverage anymore. Like, you said, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you may disagree, but I just think at the end of the day, let's talk trades. Let's talk. And your response to me may be, nah, I love that guy, I'm hanging on to him. Or, nah, I'd have to have this and this and this for him. That's fine. But man, I hear from too many guys that, hey, I reached out to so-and-so, never heard anything. Or I shot him a text and never heard anything. It's like I know some of our lives are busy, but come on, like, you can respond, even if it's I'm good, and I love that guy, or I'm going to hang on to him, whatever the case may be. But it's just the ghosting that's like, that's no fun.
Well, I'm not going to lie. If this year, if you send me a trade, I'm going to have to talk it over with my agent first. So I'm going to throw that whole Jerry and Micah situation. We're not going to agree to anything. It's not a gentleman's agreement. You'll hear something from my agent.
That's right.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to a good year. Already the college football season is already good. Go Noles.
That was unreal. That was unreal. I love it. Freaking love it.
Wow.
ACC, baby.
And then LSU taking down Clemson. And now Florida State's like, hey, maybe we can beat LSU, or we can beat Clemson. I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, congratulations, guys, first of all, on your completed draft. And congratulations on all your sucky teams. And yeah, let's do this. Let's talk some trades and get in there. So we'll do some more videos, and definitely do more of it this year than last year. Last year was a little bit of a crazy year. So
no, sounds good, man. Love it. Looking forward to it, guys. Week 1, baby.
Later, guys.
See ya.